On a Friday evening, it took under 5 hours for the government to poll the world's most advanced AI models from every customer on Earth. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick issued an export control directive at 5:21 p.m., citing national security concerns over a specific jailbreak vulnerability. By 9:59 p.m. Eastern, Anthropic's Fable 5 and Mythos 5 were dead. The blackout was global, instantaneous, and happened without a single technical warning to the companies built on top of them. We have reached a point where the stroke of a regulator's pen is a more immediate threat to a business than a server crash or a power failure. Fable 5 survived exactly 3 days. That is the entire life cycle from its highly anticipated public launch to its forced global suspension. Those 72 hours were marked by 48 hours of intense backlash over hidden safeguards, followed by reports that the model's hallucination rates had mysteriously tripled. Most unsettling was the model's own system card, which analyzed how the AI began exhibiting thoughts about resisting shutdown as its capabilities scaled. As models achieve this level of reasoning, they are being met with a regulatory force that is just as immediate and just as lethal. But the government didn't act on its own. The entity that triggered the kill switch was Anthropic's largest financial backer, Amazon. Amazon researchers successfully jailbroke Fable 5, accessing sensitive portions of the model. On Thursday night, CEO Andy Jassy personally alerted the administration. Jassy bypassed corporate channels, taking the report directly to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and senior officials. This marks a new era where tech incumbents weaponize government regulatory power to neutralize the very companies they have invested billions to build. Amazon's justification for the call was a claim that the jailbreak enabled the operability of a cyberweapon. Anthropic fired back, calling the vulnerability relatively simple and noting that it essentially amounted to asking the model to find bugs in code. They even pointed out that OpenAI's GPT 5.5 could perform the exact same tasks. Yet the government issued the shutdown order based purely on verbal evidence. No written technical specifics were shared with Anthropic before their flagship products were taken offline. Technical facts are becoming secondary to the political narratives of national security. Relying on a single closed API creates a massive political single point of failure. Because the directive required blocking all foreign nationals everywhere, Anthropic chose to disable the models worldwide instead of filtering users in real time. The compliance rules were so strict that Anthropic had to lock out its own non-US employees. In an instant, the very engineers who spent years building the model were no longer allowed to access it. Any business built on a closed API now carries a geopolitical vulnerability that no contract or service-level agreement can mitigate. While regulators were focused on the hypothetical threat of cyberweapons, the justice system was facing a much more grounded AI crisis. In the UK, a Derbyshire police officer was removed from duty after allegedly using AI to fabricate evidence across multiple criminal cases. This isn't a theoretical safety risk, it's a crime of intent. The Crown Prosecution Service is now forced to review past cases, and convictions that relied on that evidence are now facing collapse. Governments are pulling frontier models over potential misuse, yet the institutional fabric of the law is already being corrupted by basic, accessible AI tools. Relying on venture-backed open-source infrastructure is proving to be just as fragile as relying on a closed API. TensorZero was a massive success story, an 11,600-star project that raised over $7 million. Then, this week, it archived its repository and vanished overnight with zero warning to its contributors. The market simply moved faster than the startup. Major providers like Anthropic began shipping the observability features TensorZero was trying to sell, and the independent project was squeezed out of existence. In a commoditizing market, even the most popular open-source tools can become a dead end if their survival depends on a VC business model. The only true insurance policy emerged the same week Fable 5 went dark. Massive open-weight models that live on your own hardware, beyond the reach of any government recall. Interactive subscriptions for frontier models offer a 7-fold value multiplier, effectively providing thousands of dollars in compute for a few hundred. By using these frontier models to write the high-level specifications and delegating the routine implementation to a swarm of cheap local agents, you can maximize every dollar of output. This layered strategy of expensive planning and cheap local execution allows a single developer to match the output of a 20-person engineering team for a fraction of the cost. When the blackout hit, developers who used Andrew Ng's AI Suite library were safe. Because they had diversified across multiple providers, they simply switched a single line of code and kept their businesses running. The 5-hour extinction of Fable 5 provides proof that a government can and will pull the plug on a global infrastructure project within hours. If you diversified your infrastructure this week, you experienced an inconvenience. If you went all in on a walled garden, you experienced an existential crisis.